I think this is called Partnership Shelter. There's the privy. Really nice. And there's the shelter. Maybe one of the best looking shelters I've seen. Now you have a clothesline. Wow. Yeah, Partnership Shelter has a hot shower. Really nice. I didn't realize that it also has a ladder going up to a loft. Cool. Greetings. Welcome to day 40. This is Chase Life. I'm Chase. We're finishing up our AT through hike. Today we're hiking from the Rogers Visitor Center off of the A16. And we're going up to the Trimpi Shelter. And it's about not a very long day. It's going to be a little over 10 miles. A good climb. It should be pretty easy. Got a full pack. Got all my food. So we're off and running. Weather again. Beautiful. It's in the 50s. And blue skies. So yeah. That's pretty awesome. It looks like it's going to keep being awesome for the rest of the week. We'll be heading in a few days down to Damascus. And yeah, we're getting down to the land, man. It's just it's crazy, but awesome, right? And yeah, so check in later. God dang it, didn't die. All right, so yeah, just went to video and slipped on a rock. Anyways, yeah, so what I wanted to say is I haven't really videoed anything, I don't think. Saw two buzzards. That was interesting. By the time I got my camera out, they flew off. All right, so the original plan was to hike from the being bombarded with acorns, was to hike from the Mount Rogers, the visitor center, and I need to get to the Fox Creek trailhead, which I could then go to. I planned a stay at the Grayson Highlands Hostel. I think they also go by Harbor Site Inn or something like that. And I already sent a supply box there, so that's kind of like a given. I got to get there. And if you did it in one day, it would be over 20 miles and over 5,000 feet. So that wasn't going to happen. So I divided the day, and there was this thing called the Trimpi Shelter in between. And I heard it was a good shelter and all that, had good water. So cool. So I planned my day to go to Trimpi Shelter today, and then tomorrow from Trimpi Shelter down to Fox Creek. So Trimpi Shelter, according to Far Out, I think it's like 9.5 miles today and about 1,700 feet, or I don't remember exactly, but anyways, it's a short day, and it's starting to feel like maybe too short, like I'll be there at 1 a.m. or something, I don't know, probably 2, but that's still pretty early. Kind of seems silly. If I'm not tired, you know, I could keep going. Well, tomorrow's a longer day, so that would actually make tomorrow better if I could keep going. Tomorrow's 12.5 miles, but 3,000 feet of elevation. So the next tent site on Far Out is would knock tomorrow down to like 10 miles and 1,700 feet. So a lot of the elevation happens before that. So anyways, that's what I might do. I don't know. The other issue is the Grayson Highlands place I'm staying at said I need to message them about a pickup because I'm going to need a shuttle, but I have no cell service past much past Trimpi Shelter, but maybe I'll have cell service at that tent site. but after that I'll have none all the way down to the road. So it's going to be difficult to guess when I will arrive at that endpoint of Fox Creek trailhead without knowing. I mean, I'll either be walking 12.5 miles or 10 miles and taking a wild guess at when I'll get there. So that's kind of a problem, but we'll figure it out. Now we'll hit another blowdown section where the whole forest is just full of blowdowns as far as you can see, and we're walking through them. This is directly north of the Trimpi Shelter. We still got a little ways to go to reach that. But yeah, I mean, so the trail people did a good job of cutting through this, what was obviously a lot of work. Cool bridge. All right, we hit a meadow, and to my happiness, it's a cowless meadow, I think. So, and I do see the blaze, so that's different. It's right there, so we know which way to go. So hopefully I don't get lost. Okay, it's not a cowless meadow. I don't know where the cows are though. Uh-oh. So I met a retired forest ranger, and he had words of advice for me. One of the things he was talking about was, he says when you get to the Trimpi Shelter, you'll see that there's trees down all around it that just, the shelter survived just by luck, I guess. But all the trees around it are down. And we're getting close to it now. All right, we're at the Trimpi Shelter. And cool, it's like a good shelter. Well, they had a fire going in here. You can still see some glowing coals. All right, so I sat at the Trimpi Shelter for a while. 10 minutes, trying to figure out, well, am I staying here or not? And at first I talked myself into staying. Had a lot of good reasons. One is because next day, tomorrow, there's 3,000 plus feet of climb. And I would have to, if I stayed at the Trimpi Shelter, I would be able to use up most of my water. So water for coffee in the morning, breakfast, water for dinner tonight. And I only would have to carry just my drinking water, which is, not that much. And that would be a lot easier. Whereas if I go on, I got to carry all the water. There's no water coming up. There are no water sources. So that Trimpi Shelter was the last water source. So there was that. My left foot is just throbbing. It's been that way for a while, but it got worse on the rocks here. So it'd be nice to just, and I'm tired, and I'm like, my body's going like, yeah, stop. Now, on the other hand, going on means that tomorrow chase is going to be a lot happier that today chase kept going, because tomorrow will be a lot easier day. Instead of 3,000 feet, I'll knock off about 1,000 feet of climb. And so there's that. That's going to make getting down to the trailhead and estimating the time to get down the trailhead just a little bit easier. But the most important thing was, despite being told I would have cell reception at Trimpi, I didn't. I had zero cell, and I need to be able to get in touch with a shuttle driver. So on Far Out, they say that a tent site 2 miles up, 2 miles all along the trail, has 2 bars of horizon. So assuming that's true, that would be a better option for me. So I'm carrying all my water, and I'm heading up to that tent site. Oh, so the other advantages of staying at the shelter, of course, are you had a bear box, you can just put your food in there and it makes your life a lot easier. And there's a privy, so you don't have to dig a cat hole, but not that that's a big deal. All right, so a new debate internally is, I know it's ridiculous. I'm a tenth of a mile away from the tent site, but I looked and I'm only 2 miles away from the road. Road I hadn't really thought about. I think it's Dick's Gap or something like that. And I could go to the road and get a ride and get to the hostel tonight and a slack pack tomorrow. That's tempting. I don't know. I'll see what I think when I get to the tent site. All right, decisions have been made. I just called the Grayson Highlands place that I'll staying at tomorrow night and said, hey, I'm going to come in tonight. And they were cool with that. And they're going to pick me up at Dickeys Gap. It's only another 2 miles. And then, yeah, I'll make tomorrow an easy day. So that's what I'm doing. If I had known that, I wouldn't have to go down and get all that water or carry all that water for the last 3 miles. But it's okay. I'm just kind of amused as I'm walking along and notice this trail and it says no horses. Well, all right. All right, it's been a day of decisions and indecisions. So it's kind of interesting, we started out with this plan of, we're going to hike from the Rogers Visitor Center and we're going to go to the Trimpi Shelter. It's going to be a little over 9 miles. And then tomorrow's going to be a big day. And then, stuff happened and we weren't sure about what to do with the water and, no cell coverage, etc. So then we said, hey, we'll just bring all our water and hike up to the tent site another 2 miles, which I did. And then I kind of realized just not a little over 2 more miles and I'd be down at the road. So I called the Grayson Highlands shelter that we're staying at and said, hey, can you come pick me up at Dickeys Gap? And so, yep, that's what we did. So ended up being a longer day, but I think it's a good decision. One small advantage, I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but we're in the middle of a cold snap, and I was a little concerned about how cold it was going to get at night. I didn't bring my winter stuff. I don't have my booties. I don't have leggings for my legs. And it's getting warmer every day, so the cold snap's kind of going away. So I think in a few days it'll probably be not even a big deal. I think it's just getting into the 40s now, but it did get into the 30s. And my quilt is not... So at 30 degree, it's a 30-degree quilt, so you're very uncomfortable in the 30s. I can tell you that. So, yeah, that's the day. I don't know how many miles we've hiked. I'll have to take a look, but I think it ended up being around 15 or so. A bit of climbing. What's been also kind of weird is the number of blowdowns. It's obvious they've cut through a lot and made this trail passable. But there's still a lot that are there. A lot of step overs, which are no big deal. A lot of duck unders, right? But there are some that you hit that are the in-betweeners. Too high to step over or even climb over. And to go under with a backpack, you're basically down on your hands and knees. But it is what it is. It's the trail. So looking forward to checking out a new hostel.